Hi, welcome to Better Not Stop. I'm Hannah. Today we're in my kitchen. I've just had lunch. It's a beautiful day here in the Peak District. So I'm going to go out for a walk in a minute. But before I go, I wanted to record you a quick video in which I'm sharing with you basically the things I have in my kitchen. So I've done a few blog posts, which I will link in the description below, where I've talked about how you can do a plastic-free shop. Wherever you are, wherever your local supermarket is. And I've also done another video talking about if you don't have a very good selection at your local supermarket, some really good websites where you can shop for groceries online and also other zero waste products. But what I wanted to do today was show you what I actually have in my kitchen, because that might be interesting for you to see where I am on my zero waste journey, and also maybe give you some ideas of some stuff that you can do as well. Sometimes I think the idea of becoming plastic free or zero waste can be like super overwhelming, but it's really, really easy to do. And before we get started, I just want to say I've done all this on a budget. So when you sometimes it's easy to think that this is like an elite sort of club to be in, that you have to be like middle class or something to have the time and the money to care about the environment. But that's not the case. I've done all of this on a budget. So I just wanted to show you basically around my kitchen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what's in my freezer, what's in my fridge, and then I'm going to show you what's in my cupboards, and that should pretty much cover all my kitchen stuff. So first up is the freezer. I'm just going to pull out the stuff that I always have in my freezer, just to give you an idea of the kind of stuff that's in there. So I always have these Aldi sausage rolls. They're vegan. They just basically taste exactly like the ones you get in Greggs. And these are a firm favourite of Phil's. He likes to have these after a walk, but these are also awesome for like picnics. So if we're going out on a hike or something like that, we'll kind of cook these in advance and take them with us, and they're a really good snack to have. I've just got into these Richmond meat-free sausages, which are also vegan. Now, I love a veggie sausage. Usually I was a Linda McCartney girl, but I have been turned over to the Richmond dark side. You'll notice both of them are packaged in cardboard, which means that they can be recycled, so that makes it really, really easy. Another great thing to look for when it comes to freezer stuff is Quorn items. So Quorn's always packaged in cardboard, so that's another thing that's super easy to recycle, and Linda McCartney. So what else have I got to show you in here? So yeah, I've got some Quorn nuggets here. Oh, sorry, Quorn pieces, but I also have some Quorn nuggets in the freezer as well. These bags cannot be recycled curbside, but they can be recycled at the supermarket where you recycle the plastic bags. So I just tend to collect them up in a small pot, and then when I've got enough, I will take them to the supermarket to get recycled. And then I always have basically old margarine tubs full of leftover food. So when I've made, this is a masala, but when I've made like a bolognese or something like that, curry, I always make too much. So yeah, these are like perfect for like saving your food and not spending tons on like expensive Tupperware. Now I've acknowledged there's not a lot in my freezer at the moment, but I did actually go to Tesco's yesterday, so I just didn't need a lot. So we've got alcohol-free beers, margarine, that's just a spare one, tonic water, some sauces all in glass, and then again more glass bottles, gherkins, things like that. Cheeses, like I've said before, they're impossible to get zero waste. This is Phil's. These vegan ones are mine. And they last for ages if you put them in a Tupperware. And then right at the bottom here is all the veg that I managed to get from my local right at the bottom here is all the veg I managed to get from my local supermarket. So you can see I've got in there peppers, spring onions, broccoli, potatoes. I've got some carrots in there too, so loads of fresh veg. And then just in the door, you can see everything's in glass jars so that I can recycle them afterwards. Same with the bottom. There's a couple of plastic items in here that you can see, but that is a result of either it's stuff that is Phil's, and he just gets it in plastic, or it is stuff that we've bought ages ago and we just haven't replaced with a glass alternative. So obviously it's not perfect yet, but we are definitely getting there. And I could not do a kitchen tour without my favourite thing that lives in this kitchen, which is this. It's my bread maker. My sister gave me this, and I think my dad bought it for her, so it's super old. It's been around for years. Let me just show you it so you can just appreciate it. I think it's like a Panasonic bread maker. I've had a look on eBay. These are about 30 quid, 40 quid on eBay, and I don't have to buy bread anymore, and it costs me around about 10 to 15p a loaf that I make out of that bread maker, so it's so cheap as well. So definitely, if you love bread and you're nervous about getting a bread maker, don't be. Like these ones, it's literally a case of you stick the ingredients in and then you press a button. There's like no work involved. So a bread maker is, I think, one of the best things you can get for your kitchen if you eat bread. And it's so good to wake up to the smell. It's so good to wake up to the smell of freshly baked bread. My one's got a 12-hour timer I can put on it, so I can do it after dinner, like set it up the night before, and then wake up to like really nice warm crusty bread. So that's great. Now I have two main food cupboards in my kitchen. It's really hard to show you what's in them basically without having a really wobbly camera. So I think the easiest thing for me to do is just show you the cupboard like this, and then I will basically just quickly pull out some stuff to explain to you what I've got and why it's there. So on the top shelf is mainly full of things that I get from my local zero waste store. So you're talking about things like dried beans, pastas, rice. They all sit in old jars, and they're all recycled, those jars, no like fancy mason jars or anything like that. Basically, whenever I've used a jar or a container when I've bought it from the shops, I always keep it in a bag for life and find a use for it later. So on my top shelf, you can see I've got large jars of things like pasta and green beans and popcorn. And the other big thing I have on this shelf is this TVP mince, which I use for lasagnas and bologneses, and that comes in a paper container, so that's really great. Top tip for you when you're using that mince is by mixing it with mushrooms and a little bit of yeast extract. It just makes a like kind of meatier flavoured mince. So yeah, so that's what I have on my top shelf there. Second shelf, as you can see, is all tinned goods. Two things which are regularly found in the supermarket, tempeh and tofu. And I get both of these. I've got both of these from my local health food shop, but it just avoids me getting these in plastic, and also I can reuse these glass jars that they come in. And then here you can see that I've used a takeaway container, and I keep my rice in that. Beyond that, I've got my teas and coffees. I share this shelf with Phil, so there's some stuff on there that I don't use, so I'll just pull out the things that I do use, which tend to be these teas which come from my zero waste shop. I'm basically completely obsessed with tea, so I also have several different flavours of this yogi tea, which comes in paper packaging with no plastic. You might have seen, if you were eagle-eyed, that I have some Twinings tea in there, and that does come with kind of a plastic film on it. I'll just show you what I mean. But I just won't be buying that again, basically. Once that one's used up, so I can just reduce my waste. And then I also have coffee there. I drink decaf coffee, Percol decaf, and I've just bought that instant because they don't have it like the ground granules for a cafetiere in my local supermarket. So that's what I would usually have, but you can see I've got an instant in there because my local supermarket didn't have that option for me this time, and I'll have to get it online. So yeah, that's cupboard number 1. So yeah, on the top shelf, I've basically got all my bakery stuff. So I've got like flour, sugar, things like that. Everything up there is in cardboard or paper recycling packaging. The only thing up there, you might have, again, if you're eagle-eyed, you might have seen that I've got like a vinegar up there, but that's just a case of we bought that honestly before we were going fully plastic free. So once that runs out, we will just find a replacement that isn't using plastic. Then this middle shelf is what I call like my spread shelf. Spread shelf? I'd never call it that. I don't know why I just called it that. The middle shelf is where I keep a lot of the like sandwich spreads and stuff. So I've got homemade marmalade there. I've got things like Nutella there, which is a really good brand, Vego. I don't know if you heard of them. I'm not sure if these are available in the supermarket, but I get them from the health food shop, and it's basically like putting Ferrero Rocher on your toast, which is amazing. And then this is the yeast extract that I use. I don't use Marmite anymore for a variety of reasons, which I won't get into on this video. Phil still does, so he just simply has Marmite and I have this one instead. And this one I get from the local health food store. It's a more ethical company that this one comes from. And then, yes, again, when we do buy spreads, we always try and make them like as ethical as possible when we're kind of buying them. So this one, Whole Earth, is a peanut butter I really like. And then in the corner, you might have seen we've just got lots of things like raisins and nuts and coconut, which I use in my baking. And these are just all old jars that used to have other things in. So I always keep my jars. So that's what I would hugely recommend when you're trying to go zero waste, is never throw out a glass jar or even a plastic tub. Always keep like a bag for life in the cupboard or something full of them, because you never know when you might need it for something else. So I find them really useful. Now, despite the amount of processed junk food I have in my freezer, I do actually love to cook. So here you can see I've actually got a huge spice drawer that I somehow nearly forgot to tell you about. And then over here, I just have my fresh ginger and garlic. These are the produce bags here that I use at the supermarket to get my vegetables in. And then here are some beeswax wraps, which I use instead of cling film to wrap my food in. So yeah, that's actually the last drawer of the kitchen to show you that's got food items in. And I can't believe I nearly forgot to show you that, but there you go. We did not miss it, so well done me. So I hope you've enjoyed having a little sneaky look in my kitchen cupboards today, and it's hopefully inspired you to make a few zero waste or plastic free shops in this week's grocery shop. If you have any questions for me, feel free to ask them below. Otherwise, hit subscribe, or you can sign up to my newsletter to get more news about sustainability, well-being and working for yourself. I'm really excited to be making YouTube videos for everyone, so I really hope you've enjoyed it. And always remember, do what you can, when you can, better not stop.